Welcome to Morning Jams on the Porch with Stephen Leake. I'm Stephen. It's Thursday, July 17th, 2025. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. It's nice and warm, blue skies, puffy clouds, birds are chirping. It's going to be all right. Thanks for hanging out with me, spending some time, talk, and hang out. I've got a song I just wrote a couple days ago I'm going to play. It's for a specific person, and I'm not going to say who it is, but uh, we never really got to spend much time together, just by circumstances and timing. We're both dealing with a lot of shit, I just couldn't make it happen. But but I'm counting on some time at some point in my life, to be with that person. I kind of think everybody has something like that, like special people they would be willing to wait for and work on themselves for. Such people are important. Make life worth living, among other things. The song is called "One Fine Day." When you hear this song, smile and know I love you. I'll be out there doing my thing. I'll come back for you one day. I know it hurts. Try to laugh through it. I know it'll work out. And it won't be for nothing. We found each other. And after all these years, go heal and be happy. And we'll see each other again. When you hear this song, smile and know I love you. I'll be out there doing my thing. I'll come back for you one day. I didn't come all this way just to lose heart to quit. Keep me going when all seems lost. It will be you I spend the rest of my life with, and ever after that we get to choose. Ah, honestly, that's one of the first few times I've played that, so yeah, I'll get better with it as I keep playing it. Bear with me. I've kind of always found it necessary to love certain people from afar, because like at some point after so many failed relationships, I'm not gonna go into something with anybody. It's just gonna blow up and hurt and get both of us hurt. until I can, and I'm not going to pursue somebody that I really want, so I can like be healed enough to make it work for good. I feel like most people feel like that, but like at the same time, you're kind of having to live by yourself, and a lot of guys deal with that shit. Um, and a lot of people just kind of resign themselves to like flings and like casual sex and stuff like that. But I've never been able to do that. I've always tried to go for like a genuine relationship. But I've had really good ones, like several good relationships that have been meaningful and very special to me, and others that didn't work out and were just painful for seemingly for no reason. But it's kind of how it goes, I think. They say there's a Buddhist saying that any person of love is also a destroyer, and that's the fundamental essence of the universe. I kind of can start to wrap my head around what that means. You have to sacrifice a lot for like true love, and it can destroy. It can be destructive. That's actually what my novel Gethsemane is about. The destructive, the, the destructive nature of like unhealthy love. It's available free in an ebook format at stephenleake.com. Now, I do want to tell you about something else I've done. I've got my company website up, monarchliterary.com. monarchliterary.com, monarchliterary.com. It's that company is like an company for like all my creative projects and everything I'm pursuing in all my projects. We do like it's a record label, it's a publisher, it's a literary agency, it's talent management, it's content creation, all kind of shit. So check it out. It's if you just want to see what it's about, that's my company. I own it 100%, and that's the company I use to put out all my stuff. I do something. I haven't really done anything with it, but I do have the websites for like some like new projects, including I want to reach out or somebody reach out to me about doing a York County News website where it's like a government watchdog thing where we like report. We go to like city council and county council, town councils throughout of like York, Rock Hill, Clover, TUK, and all that, and just report on what's happening and what's going on. We don't really have the Herald to do that anymore, and that's crucial. That's part of how the government functions, how our society works. We need independent press that reports on the goings on of the government and just current events of of the county and towns, for the citizens to be informed enough to make democracy work. If they don't, if nobody knows what our government is doing, then that means they're unaccountable. You can't have that. You've got to have somebody uh, take the time to create an online page for the county that's independent, that's private, and it's like a news and a watchdog and reports on the sheriff's department, it reports on city and town council, everything, all that kind of stuff. And that's how individual citizens inform the other citizens, and that's how the public keeps the government accountable. It has to happen, or it doesn't function properly. You end up with shit like the sheriff's department covering for a former sheriff. You should have gotten a DUI if justice was going to happen. That's how that happens. Until we get like a web page or paper that holds them accountable and reports on it, that's widely read by people in the county, shit like that's going to keep happening. Probably will get worse. I will do that if nobody else will. If you keep up with politics, you're even remotely in any way not a flaming liberal, check out the John Birch Society, jbs.org. They're the only people that I know of that regularly do check out city and town council meetings, county council meetings, and are actively involved in local government. Uh, that's the only group that I know of that I regularly talk to that does any kind of regular civic engagement like that. I would like if you are following current events, or kind of puzzled or outraged by what's going on, contact the local John Birch Society, and they can tell you exactly what's going on. They can give you literature. They can point you into the right direction on how to get informed and like get involved in local politics. The next time I get paid, next time even somebody buys an album from me, I'm taking that money and I'm buying a domain name for a website that's going to report on the local events and local government and those meetings. Those meetings are so crucial, and more people need to go to it. That's your right. It's your duty as like the public to keep yourself informed and keep up with it. If somebody wants to reach out to me and start going to these meetings with me, or with the John Birch Society, who does that regularly, send me a text, hit me up on social media, or email me at steve@monarchliterary.com, or leave a comment below, and let's uh, let's put a website together that holds our government officials accountable and informs the rest of the citizens what is going on in our own county. People have to start getting involved, or more Epstein kind of shit will happen, and you're going to be even more outraged than you have been recently. We could easily the people, the vast majority of Americans lean center or center right, and if they just bother to inform themselves and like go to meetings, the town city hall meetings, county council meetings, stuff like that, and kept up with what the local government was doing, the state government, none of this corruption would ever be possible. But it's going to take people actually paying attention and engaging in content like mine and other people's that put stuff like this out, and informing themselves before that change can happen. And it has to happen. Else we're going to keep like spiraling into like dysfunction. This is called methadone. Speaking of, I'm blacking out right now. Hold on. I'm too focused on uh, politics right now. That's so important that average people get involved and pay attention and inform themselves and start going to meetings. Or if you can't go to a meeting, read people who are reporting on the meetings. And these are people you should be able to trust. Like, you know, my family has been on the same land here in York County since before the Revolutionary War, and they've been congressmen in the 30s. My parents are teachers, both teachers. We've been small businessmen, teachers, like I said, doctors, lawyers, and we've lived here for since there was settlers here to live, and we've contributed to the community the whole time. And if there was anybody you could trust, it would be me. I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything. But that's the whole reason I play music and like put out videos and stuff, is to inform people that I care about of what's going on. I'm not trying. It's not for my own ego. It's so that like other people that I care about, my friends, can that have to work and can't do this, so they can understand what's going on. Because I actually have the time to look into stuff because I'm on disability, and because I like I'm like on disability and self-employed and have my own business. I have all the time I need to look into politics, to look into things that matter in the community, and I can speak on it. And I've built a platform to do so. So I hope people trust me because I really actually do care about people and like how much people pay in taxes and how much and, like that they're thriving and happy and not like living under like tyranny. That shit matters to me. It pisses me off when corruption goes on. I might get a little bit overzealous and lash out at people when they are human beings. I understand that, but when you're paid a lot of money to be in a position of authority, you kind of need to be held to a higher standard of behavior and a higher ethics than the average person. And when you go out of your way to avoid the consequences of what anybody else, it would cause them drastic damn consequences to get a DUI like that. It would be easily $10,000 for a lawyer. You'd have to go to Keystone for at least 6 months, if not a year, and do classes all day, 3 days a week. And if you missed any of that, any classes, you have to start over. You're going to be drug tested the whole time. And you can't just drive there yourself because you'll lose your license. The officer was going to take it when he arrests you. And like you don't get it back until you complete everything in like over a matter of a year or two. You have to do everything in a certain order within a specific time frame, or it's too bad. And you've probably already lost your job because of it. And if you had a family to support, oops, now you don't. Now you don't have the means to support your family. And if you owe child support and don't do something quick, if you don't have friends or family to take you to these classes and you take care of it quickly, they're going to throw your ass in jail, and men with guns are going to come to your house, or if you ever get stopped by a cop, cop's going to handcuff your ass and take you to jail because you don't have a job, you can't afford to pay child support. That's the reality of working people in this county and across the country. It's very fucking tyrannical and crazy, and like you know, and you shouldn't be able to get out of it just because you have this job in politics. It actually should be the other way around. It's actually bass ass backwards. If you're in a position of public trust, you should be held to a higher standard. You should be nailed to the damn wall for even less. I got a DUI when I was 22 because I was depressed that I couldn't go fight a war, and then it like ruined my damn life. And I didn't drive for 10 years. I was like stranded at my home, and like never got to go anywhere for 10 damn years. Like that's the whole reason I started writing, so couldn't do anything else. Because I got a DUI when I was 22, I was a kid. I was barely a legal adult, and when a grown man who was a sheriff gets special treatment, it pisses somebody like me off. That's had my life turned upside down by something much less worse. And I don't really care, if he takes it the wrong way. I'm a Christian guy, and I'll forgive him. This isn't personal. It sets bad precedent and undermines public trust. And I'm a political activist, for fuck's sake, and a singer. So so many people, and pretty much anybody, would have had their lives ruined for a year, and would have to be paying astronomical prices for special insurance for at least 5 years. I mean, it would cause such a major disruption to your day-to-day routine that your life would not be the same. And that stuff has major consequences when people get special treatment, and it's public knowledge, and it's sprawled all over TV and social media. It undermines public trust. It's terrible for the community. Anyway, speaking of the girl I was talking about, the one I was trying to date, but we had shit get in the way. Um, before I move on to that, I don't have anything against the former sheriff at all. That's totally a human thing that could happen to anybody. Okay, and I understand like if you're in that position and you panic, anybody could just take off and it's not that big, but still, okay. It's more the fact that it's the current sheriff's department went out of its way to make it go away. That's the problem there. That's what people should be upset about. That's what corruption is. It's not so much the guy who did it's fault. That's a human thing that could happen to anybody that I did, right? But when public officials treat each other and give each other favors, it's bad for everybody. They should, if they really wanted to do it in a way that wouldn't hurt the public, they would have just not ever called it in, just drove him home and let him sleep it off, and it wouldn't have set out a warrant and made it a public thing to begin with. And that's stuff that kind of back in the day, and if you were driving drunk, you got pulled over, and it was known that you weren't going to go hurt somebody. Most of the time, they would just take you home anyway, and we wouldn't end up in a DUI because that's how like small towns operate. Um, but since we've had so much growth and there's so many transient people in here, and there's like all kinds of serious gang stuff going on up in Charlotte that gets dragged down here, the cops are dealing with so much heavy shit now that they can't afford to just do that anymore. And it's a small set of criminals that ruined it for everybody else. Anyway, I just want to say I don't have anything against the former sheriff whatsoever. I don't wish him ill at all. But I care about the public more. I care about the president more. This is called "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd. Whenever I play this, I always dedicate this to Amanda Zabella, who's my girlfriend in Charleston. And I was a chef downtown, and I lived downtown. Kind of lived in the food and beverage subculture for several years. It was very cool. It's very interesting. It's a totally different lifestyle. You're like you're just working and sleeping and partying all the time. That's all your life is. You're like it's a grueling kind of life. It's very hard on your body because you go and you stand up, you're on your feet for 14 hours straight, or 7 hour or two 7 hour blocks, something like that. You're constantly moving in a tight space. It's always hot. You're always sweating in a confined space. And the people you were face to face with, working with, and like all over physically all day, become like your family. And as soon as you get off work, you go and hang out and drink beer with them, party with them, and it becomes like you have deep bonds with them. It becomes like a capitalist. Becomes like a capitalist like gang almost, or like you know what I mean. It's like you're there to make money and support yourself, but it's almost like you're in some other way, some kind of like rifle line of Marines. That's kind of what it kind of feels like in a way. To work in food and bev. I'm not saying literally. It's just like you can. That's what it feels like in a sense. And then as soon as you get off work, you go hang out with those people. You go to their houses, you party with them, and you know everything about them. You know their kids' names. You know everything. You know what meds they take and what the issues they deal with, and you're constantly swapping all the meds you have with what they have because healthcare is so insanely expensive and you can't afford it. So you have to like find like solutions that are creative that people can afford that may not be perfectly legal. And that's just kind of that world that you live in, and it's fun. And if you go to if you're like there's like specials and like things drinks you can go get and specials for people in the industry at other restaurants, and like cooks and waitresses and servers and bartenders and stuff. When they get off working in a restaurant all day, they go to other restaurants and hang out. And it's kind of masochistic in a way. Or somebody's house or to a concert or something. All right. Uh, Wish You Were Here. It's for Amanda Zabella, my girlfriend, who passed away from alcoholism in 2023. wish you were here, Pink Floyd. I just yesterday put a new page on my site, StephenLeake.com. It's called the Freedom Library, and it's full of like further reading and books and websites and articles and stuff and resources for further reading on libertarian ideas and constitutionalism and our and traditional founding principles. And if we just go back to what made this country great, which is free market capitalism and individual liberty, free speech, uh, constitutional constitutionalism. We just all we have to do is restore the Constitution and abide by it. That's all we have to do, and everything would be fine. But because we've let ourselves be governed by bureaucratic decree and all this unconstitutional nonsense, this is what we get. We get all this dysfunction and crazy shit happening. Um, you know, I I think that for men to be happy, men need a purpose. Men need a mission. That's what makes men happy. What makes women happy is family. And like, you're perfectly free to try other things to be happy and stuff, and that's a good thing. I support that choice. But if you're doing other things and you're like miserable and unhappy, maybe it's time to just try traditional values and traditional lifestyles. I kind of have an alternative lifestyle, but I still know the value of what a traditional lifestyle offers, and you'll be happier. If you're unhappy in an alternative lifestyle, you need to try at least a traditional one, and maybe is what will make you happy. Because taking on responsibility and having a purpose and a meaning in your life is what makes men happy. But what I've seen make women happy is like providing and like caring for family and their children. And that's how our species has operated for like millennia, for hundreds of thousands of years. That's a formula that works. You're free to like deviate from that formula, but if you do, you need to be aware of like what you're doing. Okay, and if you've deviated from the traditional route that our species has done forever, and you're like miserable and your life is falling apart, you can course correct back onto what has worked for everybody else before. And there's no shame in that. But I'm all for it. People's right to choose something else and not have to do a certain like kind of life. That's what America's all about: individual liberty. That's a human right to choose your own life, to choose your own destiny. Uh, but just think about that. If you're living in a way that like you weren't raised, that's going to cause problems for you psychologically. You're going to have cognitive dissonance because of it. And like that's just natural. And especially when we're dealing with all kinds of this new technology that was never tested. Like we don't know, we're like experimenting on ourselves with all this social media and phones and stuff and AI. It was never properly tested on human beings in a controlled setting. So now we're just toying with our own brains and our own development. As we raise children and we subject them to this really addictive, overstimulating technology. That's obviously what's causing all of our social problems. Uh, so, we have an opportunity to get back to something a little bit more saner, simpler, and legal. We need to take steps to do that. But you should always have the option to gorge on media and be on the internet as much as you want. I'm a libertarian. I think more freedom is the answer. The solution is never going to be to restrict freedom. I mean that's obvious. We should always try to be giving people more options. More options, more freedom will always be the way to go. Um, anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. It's been actually a really good episode. And it's kind of special to me because I got to touch on some things that I've been wanting to say for a while. Um, check out my company page, Monarch Literary. And I'm actively looking for people to work for me, if not really for me, but with me. Uh, I'm looking for partners, business partners, and people who want to collaborate on creative stuff and business stuff. and just reach out to me. You can go to any of my websites and my contact page and just hit me up. My phone number is available on my website, stephenleake.com. I have novels, poetry, music, podcasts, and just miscellaneous stuff at stephenleake.com and stephenleakemusic.com. My company site is monarchliterary.com, and I'm all over social media. So check me out. I've also got internet radio station, Stephen Leake Radio, um, where I like do radio shows on practical steps for libertarian activism, civic engagement, ways to be more free, to live a life that's more authentic, to unplug from the matrix, if you want to call it that, to be more independent and self-reliant. Um, so check out; it's chock full of resources. It's for the kids, for everybody else. It's not really for me. I already do that stuff. I just like I'm like really I have the life I've always wanted, and like other people should know about it because I think it can help people. And it can also help our community and our country be more free and get back to the Constitution. So check it out. It couldn't hurt. And check out the radio. I'm in the process of getting a mobile app developed for it, so you can just download it from the Apple Store and have access to everything. And I'm also getting what I'm calling freedom keys made up, which are like USB flash drives for like 64 or 32 gigabytes that have all my work on them. So I haven't figured out how much to charge for it yet, but that's going to come. That's coming soon. Anyway, I really appreciate y'all listening to me and thinking what I have to say is important because I think it is. But thanks again. I appreciate y'all and take care of yourselves. Things are crazy because the good guys are about to just win completely, and like the commies are just like they're just making a lot of noise, dying, and that's all this is that you're seeing. Don't You shouldn't like suddenly think the guy you loved and your leader is like somehow a bad guy and is secretly trying to work against you. That's just a tactic of the left. Stay the course, keep the faith, and we are going to win. Thanks.